Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Jamie Zwier, and I'm the host of the Oh How Healthy podcast. So this podcast was designed with busy women in mind, so I like to keep these episodes short, sweet, and loaded with healthy tips and tricks to help you simplify healthy eating, not only for yourself, but your family as well. If you would like to learn more about my work and how I can support you, please visit www.ohhowhealthy.com, where you can find access to my meal planning membership site, as well as healthy cooking classes, workshops, and summer camps for kids. So without any further ado, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the show, everyone. This is Liz Hoyt. Hi, Liz. How are you?
Hello. How is everyone?
They're good. They're staying self-quarantined right now.
I mean, it's for the best.
Yeah.
You know, prevention is always better than getting sick. So,
Exactly.
Do what we have to.
Yeah. So say hello to everyone. Introduce yourself. Tell everyone what you do and what your specialty is in.
I'm Liz. I am finishing up at Rowan for my degree in exercise science. It's in health promotion and wellness management. So beyond just the exercise part, but how we make behavior changes, how do we manage our health, how do we know what resources are available to us. Then I'm also certified as a personal trainer. I did that through the National Strength and Conditioning Association in 2017. I've been training with that for a while, currently a personal trainer at Ed Schindel Rand. Specialties, weight loss.
Yeah.
That's
muscle building, weight loss, yeah.
Muscle building, yeah.
Yeah, the usual personal training kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how you have a holistic philosophy around your teaching. You have a very holistic minded attitude where you talk about digestive issues, you talk about nutrition, you talk about really whole rounded activities that you can do to strengthen and build muscle, So I like that about you. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, obviously exercise is one part of being able to not only lose but manage your weight, but nutrition is going to be a huge part of that as well. Which mindset is also going to be a part of that as well, because if you don't have the right mindset, then you're not going to be in a place to even take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And then certain different health conditions also need to be considered and can also be factors for preventing weight loss. So definitely just looking at the body in total and seeing what's going on with someone's life and figure out okay, well, what's going on with you that we can't take care of ourselves like we need to.
Yes. I love that all. So now that, the women that listen to the show are, busy women usually they have a lot going on. And now during this time, there's really a lot going on in their lives. And unfortunately, gyms are actually closing down right now due to this, pandemic that's happening. And so I was really eager to get you on the show and talk to you because I wanted to hear from you maybe what are some things that you're doing to stay active during this time, things that you're recommending your clients do to stay active.
Always I push for strength training no matter what. I mean, it's kind of one of those things that you'll always get the most bang for your buck. Well, cardio is also great, for, heart health, all of that. But in order to really lose weight, maintain weight, help with, maintaining muscle mass, bone density, all of that, you have to strength train. So, I mean, obviously you can't do that in the traditional sense like you would in the gym. So let me just start off by saying that working out in the gym, it will always be best because you'll have more equipment, so you'll be able to hit different muscle groups as opposed to if you're at home, it might be a little bit limited. And you'll also be able to continue progressing in weight because with anything, if you do it over and over, you just get the same results. But definitely during times like this where you have to get creative, there's a couple different ways that you can do it. So you can still stick with the strength training, even if you just have a light pair of weights at home. Getting creative by doing stuff like putting stuff in a book bag and using the book bag.
That's true.
Bands is another one.
Yeah.
Whether it's the loop bands for your legs. If you are going to be someone who works out at home, definitely having door attachments as well that you can do different arm exercises. So things like adjustable dumbbells, those are other really great options. So that way you don't have to buy a whole bunch of weights. It's just one weight and you can just change it. So if you are going to be someone who always has to work out at home, they are good investments because again, you have to keep making things harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are definitely some of the best options, like equipment-wise for you. Yeah, just definitely sticking with the basic strength training. So you want to hit those larger muscle groups, doing those big movements, things like squats, lunges, deadlifts, push-ups. If you have a pull-up bar, that's another great investment.
Yeah.
And you can even like add like a band to that, so that way you can build up to it.
Yeah.
But definitely sticking with the basics, because like I said, they hit the most muscles.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have like limited equipment, or if you have lighter equipment, keeping things like short, kind of like in a circuit.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they could just maybe write 5 or 6 different exercises down and say lunges, squats, sit-ups, and then just do it repetitively in like a 5 different round sequence, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then going for minimal rest. So keeping things to like 30 minutes, and you can try and like, let's say like 5 rounds of these 5 exercises in 30 minutes, and just keeping it with the minimal rest. That way your heart rate still stays elevated, muscles still stay tired. That's definitely what I've been telling all of my clients to do during this time. Do these different circuits, stuff like that. Yeah.
So, do you ever recommend like online workout classes that if you're not able to get to the gym right now, just like do an online, whether it's dance classes or yoga classes? Do you ever recommend things like that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If you just have like, let's say you have like no equipment and you can only do bodyweight stuff. I mean, you can still, like you said, do like things like those classes, or just doing just bodyweight exercises in general.
Yeah.
Things like planks, you can still do squats, you can still do lunges. Yoga's another great one. It's all just with your own body weight. There's tons of yoga classes on YouTube. And yeah, especially now, it's important to stay active. I mean, exercise has so many benefits, and keeping you healthy is one of them. So
yeah, your immune system.
Boosting your immune system, all of that. This is not the time to like take a holiday. It's the time to, still be serious about your health more than ever, with exercise, with nutrition, all of that.
Yes. And we'll get into the nutrition part in just a second. But I know that some women who have babies, like they'll use their babies or little kids as weights, or even like laundry detergent containers or cans of soup. I feel like anything is better than nothing at this point, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You can definitely get creative, like you said, like using the laundry detergent, all of that. And even, again, if you have limited equipment, you can still make stuff heavy. So make it challenging. Do a squat with, like, a curl. Do, like, a lunge with, like, a press. You can still definitely challenge yourself. I think intensity is what people most often miss in their workouts. They kind of go through the motions. They never really challenge themselves. And intensity is going to be everything in a workout.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I had a question. I always thought that if you do heavier weights, like you would do normally at the gym, you don't have to do as many. But let's say you only have about 10-pound weights at home, and let's say you normally do like 5 heavyweight squats at the gym. Would you just try to do more of those lightweight squats or lunges or whatever it is that you would do?
It always depends on what your goal is. Most people's goal is either weight loss or building muscle, but that still comes down to being the same goal. Because when it comes down to it, what you want to do is you want to increase your lean muscle mass, because that's going to drop down your body fat. The more muscle you have on you, the more calories you burn every day by just existing. So if you're burning more calories because you're working out, and you're burning more calories because you're existing, it's always going to be easier to lose or maintain weight.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you kind of want to be in that 8 to 12 rep range, and that's for building muscle. And again, it's kind of about the intensity. So you can always like adjust things. So let's say you only have those limited weights. Well, how about I slow down what I'm doing? How about I like do it eccentrically? So instead of just coming up and down in your squat, coming down slowly and then up quick. So there's definitely different ways to make it challenging. So that way you're still in that right rep range.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. 'Cause this is probably the question that I get the most. what kind of foods build muscle? Now, obviously, protein, right, builds muscle, and fiber is good to keep yourself full. And like you said, people either want to gain muscle or lose weight, and fiber can help you lose weight. Now, what would your answer be to that? Is there any particular type of food that can help increase muscle gain, or are all foods kind of created equally when it comes to that?
Protein is so important.
Yeah.
It's honestly like the most important part of like losing weight besides just the workout part.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need protein. Protein is what is going to rebuild your muscles, because when you work out, you're not building your muscle, you're actually breaking it down. You're creating these little tears. And then our body wants to, obviously take care of the tears. So that's how you start to grow muscle. But in order to do that, it does need the protein. I stress this with my clients all the time. I had a couple ladies and they were like killing it in the gym. They were in the gym all the time. And they weren't getting muscle. They weren't losing body fat. And they were like, what's going on? I'm like, are you meeting your protein goal? And they weren't. And then they had a good solid 2 weeks of meeting their protein goal and gained muscle and dropped like 3% body fat. So it's so important.
Wow. I have two questions. One, so now with the current state of what's going on, this podcast is going to go out this week. We are recording this as, this new information is released about gyms closing, schools closing, all that stuff. So is there a certain food, because people are limited to the amount of food that they have access to right now? Maybe not the amount of food, but who knows what may happen. Yeah. Now, like, for example, chicken is off the shelves. I know you could probably pick up some protein bars and protein powder. Would you recommend stocking up on anything in particular, or is there anything that someone should look out for during this time?
A lot of it comes down to just like what in general you're eating. People have a really hard time structuring their meals. So they'll have like a lot of like a carb and then like no protein. So balance is a really important part of it. Like I have my clients like log their food, and then it's going to be like carbs, and like no protein, or it's going to be like stuff that's all like really high in fat. So definitely just having balance within your meals, that's going to be super important. Kind of what I preach and what I do myself is we're going to load up on the fruits and the veggies. We're going to include our lean meats, however we can get them, stuff like seafood too. Like you said, protein powders and bars, they really do help fill those gaps, because protein has a lot of different things that it does, because the building blocks of protein is those amino acids, which are essential for like immune function, like stuff like that. So again, it's all balance. But let's say you're someone who maybe like doesn't like eat meat, so you kind of have to work around that. So looking for stuff that still is high in protein. So like stuff like beans, like black beans,
that's a good one.
Kidney beans, lentils, all of that, chickpeas. So you can definitely still get creative. I mean, especially like now. So like now, let's say the grocery stores do close and I run out of meat. Well, I have a lot of chickpeas. I can make
hummus,
like falafel, like stuff like that. I can make my own black bean burgers. So sometimes you do have to get creative, but I think just being mindful about the ratios of what you're taking in will have a huge help.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. Okay, so how much protein would an average woman, let's say a 150-pound woman, need? Is there like a ratio that you try to recommend someone to stick to?
Yeah, so in general, you want to be like 0.8 to 1 per pound of like body weight. Okay. So for me, I weigh 140. I'm still trying to gain muscle. I'm eating about 140 grams of protein in a day. Obviously, that's not as easy for everyone. That's why it takes some effort. But no matter who you are, you probably need to be eating like at least 120 grams of protein in a day. Just to support whatever muscle mass you already have, not even including the fact that you want to continue to gain muscle mass. So, again, as we age, we start to lose muscle mass. We do need to constantly try and maintain it.
That's good to know. Yeah, because I'm sure that most people are not hitting their protein goal, and they probably are kicking butt at the gym, or they're staying active and they're just not reaching this goal. And that could be such a simple thing that they could, and it's not even, that's why I don't like it when people say, oh, I'm going to eat less to lose weight. You just need to eat smarter, you know?
Yes, eating smarter. And and my clients, like I said, they were like crushing it. They were eating all their fruits and veggies, and I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, we got to get the protein in though.
Yeah.
It's such a huge part of it.
Yeah. And even if you do have like you said, balance, like a carb heavy dish, you want to always make sure you have something protein wise with it, not only to create a balanced meal, but to maintain your blood sugar so that all these different factors aren't affected.
Because, your body can only process so much carbs at one time. So if you're having just this huge thing of carbs, which, I mean, obviously you shouldn't, because, again, your body can only handle so much at one time, but you need that balance. So am I balancing out by also, eating it with some protein? Or do I have any type of fiber in there? So adding in, like, the fruits and the veggies, super important.
Yeah. And then obviously, like, that does increase your overall calorie count, which is, like you mentioned, calories in versus calories out initially. But there are smart swaps that you can make, too, with your carb dish. Like, you can swap your pasta for a protein-based pasta or a black bean-based pasta, which is just as delicious,
I love chickpea pasta. You're going to get more protein, which, again, protein is so important, but then you're also going to be getting fiber with that. While if you had just a normal pasta, you're not going to get much protein. You're not going to have any fiber. So it's just going to be this huge spike to your blood sugar, which is just going to be harmful for weight loss because your blood sugar all day is going to be up. It's going to be down. It's going to keep telling your body, like, I'm hungry, even though you're not hungry. Yeah,
I definitely notice that when I just have, like, I'll experiment with different breakfasts, but if I have just oatmeal or just, like, a cereal, or I'm, like, so hungry by, like, 10 a.m., I'm like, what's going on? Didn't I eat breakfast? But compared to an egg dish or protein shake, it really does make you more hungry when you're just having those carbs.
And you can still get creative. So even something like with the protein, or what I'll do is like overnight, like chia and oats. I'll let that sit, and then in the morning I'll stir in protein powder. And it's just another great way to not only get in protein, but to balance out what I'm eating. So I'm going to be more full for long. Those are easy ways to definitely hit your protein count. So definitely during this time, we want to make sure that we're staying active as much as possible, doing what we can around the home, whether we're going up and down our stairs 10 times, using our kids' weights. Some lunges up your stairs.
Yeah, seriously.
Stairs few push-ups. Get creative.
Yes, and then hitting our protein amount. Now, do you track your macros, or do you track your proteins? Because the macros are essentially what? Just the fat, the calorie, the carbs, right? And the protein. So do you track it in any sort of way, in any app or on pen and paper?
I do. I use MyFitnessPal. So it kind of just keeps you responsible. I know that it is another, thing that is added into your day. But if you're someone like me, I kind of end up eating about the same things. So it's really just a matter of taking that extra little bit of time to just add in what I eat. And again, holding myself responsible. Yeah. Because you would be surprised, like, how much you either over or under eat. And if you've never tracked before, you're kind of just going to be setting yourself up for, like, failure if you're trying to lose weight, because you have no idea what's in the food that you're eating at all. Like, I'm sure someone would get like a handful of pasta and they think like, oh, it's just like a little bit, but in reality, a handful of pasta is going to be about 400 calories. Yeah,
and like a scoop of sauce with all that sugar in it, right? Sometimes some sauces have a lot of sugar and fat, so you have no idea. Yes, so I love MyFitnessPal. I definitely recommend MyFitnessPal too. It's a great way to keep yourself accountable, like you said. And I think accountability really is key right now, at least, because when you are accountable to work. You wake up, you go to work, you're in this routine, you just go to the gym right before work. But now, I mean, we have no idea how long we're going to be off for, whether it's 2 weeks, whether it's a month, whether it's 2 months, like literally no one knows. So I think it's going to be really important to keep ourselves accountable. And before we hopped on this podcast, we talked about the 30-day challenge that's going to be running inside of the Facebook group, and you'll be in there too, right? You'll be hanging out with us. Yeah. So if someone wanted to say, they get off this podcast and they say, I'm really motivated to either start eating more protein, start tracking my food, start moving more. I encourage whoever is listening, whoever really wants to have that extra accountability piece, to join our 30-day challenge, to be there and share something, whether it's one thing each day where, hey, look, I snapped a photo of the food that I ate today. Look, I hit my protein goal. Look, I'm walking up and down the steps, 10 times. Yeah. And that one thing is going to help keep you accountable. And so when we're back to our normal routine, we don't feel like total crap. We can feel like, okay, I took, steps in the right direction versus steps in the wrong direction, to set us up for real success. Because I think we can either take the situation and either go one or two ways with it. It can be really positive or negative, and all we can do is the best that we can in any situation.
Yeah.
Well, you have been amazing. I know that everyone's going to love you and they're going to want to have you back on. We'll have to schedule another
I can talk about exercise for days.
Yeah. And if anyone goes to Delran Edge Gym, to look out for Liz, to ask, because you can take clients.
Come ask me questions.
Yeah, and you have personal training there. So get a session with Liz, go ask her questions. She'll be in the group hanging out with us for the 30-day challenge. You can tag Liz Hoyt, Hoyt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and you can tag Liz and ask her a question specifically, because she is the lady who you want to talk to about all your fitness questions. So thank you. Yes. So thank you, Liz, and
thanks for having me.
Oh, we loved having you, and we'll have you back soon. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. If you love this episode, please leave a rating or review, and you can do that by tapping or swiping on the cover art of the podcast episode and sliding all the way down until you see an option to leave a star rating and a review. And that is greatly appreciated. It helps others use this helpful information who could also use this helpful information. So again, thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you in the next episode. If you would like to learn more about that challenge, that 30-day challenge that Liz and I were talking about, head on over to the Facebook group associated with this podcast called Healthy Weight Loss Tips for Busy Women, and you can join over there. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next episode.